Welcome to the Paul Spradley Show, a show dedicated to real strategies from real people practicing real leadership in diverse and inclusive cultures. And now here's your host, CEO of the diversity training firm, the Care-Based Leadership Collaborative, Dr. Paul David Spradley.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I am excited that you're with us today. I'm very excited about my guest. They are known locally as the Three Kings, the founders of 1NationMentoring. My guests today are Lloyd Cheatom, Kevin McNair, and Sam Morant, and they are very interesting guys. They have an incredible story. One of the things that we're going to talk about is their mentoring program, 1NationMentoring, but they have been in the city influencing the lives of young black males for quite a while now, and they're doing a fantastic job. In fact, I see them as experts, and they're just good guys. So welcome to the show, Kevin, Lloyd, and Sam. Thank you all for being here today. So in the 2000s, there was a hip-hop group called B2K. I feel like you all...
that's okay.
You're the reincarnation of this group, because I'm like, man, like you go different places, and there's people that want to be you, and there's people that want to be you, and that, like you all. And so, no, but seriously, how did 1NationMentoring get started, and what is it about?
All right. Well, we actually all had the opportunity to go inside Pittsburgh Public Schools and help kids not only get graduation ready, but also just get prepared for life. It was through a program called the Heinz Endowment, and we're all Heinz Fellows. It was only a 2-year commitment, and what we didn't want to do is what a lot of males who just have jobs do. They come into the youth lives, and then once the job is over, they really transition out to kids' lives as well. We knew that our connection to the streets and the people that we serve were stronger than our jobs, so we thought about what we could do to really also help those guys that we were already working with. So I was at Brashear High School, Lloyd was at Westinghouse High School, and Sam was at Obama High School, and what we did was take the best academic support skills from Obama, because at the time they were really striving as one of the leaders as far as academics. We took some of the best social support skills from Westinghouse, and we brought it to Brashear to run a hybrid program and really just continue to support the work that we were doing and the youth that we serve.
You had said that you all brought a piece of your workspaces, but also you said your connection to the streets. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
Well, really, we all not only know how to navigate academically as far as the traditional white institutions, but we also come from a community that the kids who are struggling the hardest come from. So because we know the youth, we know their environments, and we're also members of their environment, we better know how to serve them because we're in those spaces, so we know what they need. So if a kid comes to school late, we're not saying, hey, why'd you come to school late? It's what's going on? Are there some things that we can help alleviate to help you get here on time? If a kid has to take care of his little brother or don't have food at home, because we're from the community, we can jump in to provide them the things that they need. That way we can make sure that they are there on time and that they are doing what they need to do to continue to be successful without just looking at them and the decisions that they made and then judging them by that.
How did you all come to this space where you're serving as advocates for young black males? Like, what was your trajectory like through your life?
I don't know, personally for me, it was a lot of heartache and hardships, and death really molded my mindset of, okay, you can have this sort of life, or you can excel through education and obtain this type of life. So
what do you mean death?
As far as I started losing friends and community people in the community when I was in 8th grade. Like my cousin got killed when I was in 8th grade, and that really started a lot of things. And that's a 13, 14-year-old going to funerals every summer, and friends that you're playing baseball with or getting shot at. And it was a different environment growing up in that. But like Kevin said, to know that and know that you can do something better was really my calling. And I feel as a black man, to teach another black man is my life's purpose. And I feel we're all on that same track.
For myself, I think that things just kind of lined up that way in my life. Sometimes you go through life and things happen, or you get into certain things, you don't exactly know why or what's the end of it. So I just think that working in high school, I worked a lot of after-school tutoring programs, summer camp programs, so I always worked with kids. And then also my dad had a big influence on that as well. He was always taking on that role model character. He was a coach in the neighborhood, and everyone knew him. So for me, it just kind of happened naturally from the jobs I had in high school and things just leading up to eventually being introduced to the Heinz Endowments and the Heinz Fellows program, and that kind of just like was like the end shaper. Like, this is it. This is what you should be doing.
There is a statistic that was put out there that 1 in 3 black men will end up in jail. And when I heard it, I'm like, really? That's your statistic? Because there's the other side of that. But people will genuinely say there aren't black men in educational spaces, or there aren't black males that are mentoring. I disagree. But when people say things like that, what is your thought to that concept, this idea that black men just aren't around?
My idea to that is that black men aren't around spaces that white people want them to be at, but black men are around kids every day. Just in the community, I know guys, countless number of guys who would just influence guys, not only their own kids, but just in the community. When we go to the gas station, hey, my man, pull your pants up. When we go to church, the people that we see who give us advice, these are all men who make conscious decisions to help those around them. Although they aren't asking for money or asking to be spotlighted, there are men who traditionally and still just are trying to improve our communities every day. So I have to definitely disagree with that notion.
Absolutely. And then one of our shared mentors, Brother Tony, was the one who first was like, listen, they say 1 in 3 are going to prison, but 2 in 3 are in the communities or working. So like there's this larger, greater number that people for years, like even scholars, were not focusing on the right way. They weren't, black men weren't framed in the right way. We were framed from a deficit perspective. Right. And you all go into educational spaces from a strengths-based perspective. How do you do that?
Honestly, just being ourselves. Like Kevin said, we have the academic knowledge. We've gone through school. We're all college graduates, but we also have that knowledge of just being out in the streets in our neighborhoods that we grew up in, to where we're comfortable enough and confident enough in ourselves that we know what we hold. We know the power that we hold and the power that we can instill in the kids that we work with. So for us, it's easy because we're honestly just being ourselves in everything we do.
And to add on to that, being ourselves allows for trust to be built. And before any relationship, I don't care if it's a relationship with a future girlfriend or a dog, you have to build trust before anything. And us being ourselves, genuinely, kids can see through all of the fakeness. Know what I mean? So if, like we always say, if a kid say, like if I see a kid visibly upset, what's wrong? And they say nothing. We'll say, well, you don't have to lie to me. Just tell me you don't want to talk about it.
Right.
And it's a different effect that the kid has. And it may be a day later or a period. Well, Brother Lloyd, can I talk to you about this? I mean, and the kids really know that you're there for them, and that makes our job a whole lot easier.
And
I'm sorry, but it also allows them to just believe and trust in themselves more. Yeah. If they can see adults who they can see are themselves and are confident in themselves, it also lets them know that they're capable as well. Because we make mistakes, we mess up, but we own our mistakes and we think about what we can do to improve what happened. It allowed them to say, okay, I can mess up and make mistakes as well, but I still can be great like the king if I not only acknowledge it, but try to change what happened. So it lets them know that you can be dope whoever you are. You don't have to be the star athlete to be great. You don't have to be the best cook to be great. No, whoever you are, as long as you're thinking about it and acting upon it, you can truly be great.
What's crazy is like this, what you all are talking about, this was the framework of what I built out in my dissertation work, this idea of caring and what I've seen in mentoring relationships. And you're saying, you called out specifically authenticity and safety. Like those are you just used the word safety, need to create a safe space. You talked about being your authentic self. Because oftentimes in educational spaces, people don't feel like they can be authentic. Right. They feel like they need to stay in power. So what else is, I mean, because one of the things, when I say that you all are experts, you really are, right? Like you're able to go in, identify the situation, the student. So the student might be coming in with trauma. They might be coming in with a bad day. And you're still able to cut past that. Are there tips, like when teachers are asking you, or when mentors are asking you, like what is it, like how do you get past the rough exterior? How do you get past the fact that the student's hungry and I don't know that? How do you get past the fact that there's something going on that I can't get to, but maybe I need to? Like what is your process for navigating? Because you all are, I've walked in schools where I've seen you do it, and I appreciate it. It's the best I've ever seen. So what does that look like for someone listening in real life?
From my standpoint, I think it just means having empathy and an understanding. Because if you can understand where the kids are coming from, then you are better able to serve them. But if I think that I'm right and just my way is correct, then the kid doesn't trust the process. So what we try to do is break the traditional mold of what success looks like. We all have tattoos. Brother Lloyd wears his grill every single day because the kids need to see that whatever you do look like, whoever you're around, you continue to be great. You don't have to wear glasses and study every day to be great. You don't have to just be around a certain crowd. No, what is your influence around that crowd? And I think that once we provide that platform for kids to believe and trust in themselves, and we show them empathy that we're here for you, but we're not gonna take any excuses. We're gonna listen, we're gonna understand, and then allow you to understand as well, but think about solutions to your problem. A lot of us just so comfortable going off of emotion that we don't understand how to go off of what we need to be going off of. So we also just try to just instill in them different coping mechanisms. When you are upset, what do? What do you notice? When do your temperature rise? Do you get a little hot? And when you do get hot, what do you do next? Are you gonna just curse someone out? Are you punching somebody? Or how can you breathe to alleviate how you feel to where you can get back to what you want to get out of life? So it's really about just understanding where they are, what they'll deal with, but then giving them the tool that they need to be successful. We can't expect the kid to do the best thing in negative situations because at times we may not have if he don't have those skills. But if we know that he have those skills, then we can make sure that he's better prepared for life.
And I'd just add on to that. When we talk to kids, and one way is just to talk to a child, you know what I'm saying, and just talk to them, see what's going on. But to break down that wall, I know personally I share trauma, and that's one of my coping mechanisms. And so a lot of times I just need 5 minutes just to talk about what's going on in my personal life to the kids. So it's a two-way street. It's not like they're bringing me problems. No, this is going on, you know what I'm saying, it's the anniversary of this person's dying, this is how I'm feeling. So once we are, especially as a black man, to show hurt and vulnerability to a group of kids, it's okay for them to be vulnerable because within that is growth.
Yeah. Right. Do you feel like that growth space is hampered, right? Like, so sometimes there are parents that will say, well, you're not supposed to cry, you're a man. And so are you all having conversations with the parents? Because one of the things that you were talking to was having high expectations, but these high expectations also include a broader version of who you could be. So a parent might say, I want my kid to not cry and I want them to be a football player because that's what they know. Or do you all have to re-educate teachers and or parents in that the black male identity is more than an athlete and more than, like, being a man is more than not crying?
Absolutely. I would say definitely more so the teachers and administration and the people who are dealing with these kids outside of their homes more than the parents. I think a lot of masking goes on with the youth, with the kids, because of how they think that they should act or how they think that they have to portray themselves to certain people. Whereas one of our things is be comfortable being yourself. Like you yourself are great. You are great. You don't have to be like the next person. You don't have to be like this person. You have everything inside of you to be the greatest you that you can be. And once they start to realize that and understand that I am it, like I'm it, I'm everything I need to be, I have it, I think the relationships go a lot further. And not only the relationships, the growth in the youth go a lot further. So I would definitely say it's more so dealing with the teachers and the administration than the parents with that.
I say for overall, the work that we do inside the schools every day, it's definitely us dealing with teachers every day, just letting them understand what our kids go through. But I think another big part of our program is just us supporting the family. So we may not say, Mom, you're not doing this, but if we know that some things are lacking from the home, how can we refer those services to the household and also show mom a different outlook? Because again, the family may be conditioned as well and may not know what we should or can do. But by families trusting in us and allowing us the time to even speak to their kids, which is a blessing, they trust us as well. So when we have these conversations about, hey, your kid can be doing this, or hey, Mom, how can we help you get to step B from step A, they listen. So it's a great bonus of our program to go back to the first point, that we create trust not only with the youth, but also with the family as well, because they are the staple in the kids' lives.
That's incredible. What would you say is you all are breathing life into the students, to these young men. And actually, it's not just the young men, because I've walked into the school and seen you speaking. So your program works with black males ages 12 to 24, but I've seen you work with white females. I've seen you work with students from Nepal. Like, so you're breathing life, speaking life into these students. And you said once that student gets it, what's on the other side of that? And I'm sure each of you might have a story, but what's on the other side of once that student gets it? So you're speaking life and saying, no, you can be great. No, you are a king. What is the other side of that? What does that look like realistically, or what's the story of when a kid got it?
I would say, and I may be able to speak for you guys. First of all, I love these guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can feel it.
And that's a difference right there. Like, I'm really working with individuals that I love and care about. You know what I mean? So first and foremost, I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you too, bro.
The other side of that is mindfulness, because once a kid gets it, how are you upset about failing a test that you know you did no homework and didn't study for? And we have those conversations. You're not upset, because if you are upset, you would have studied. I can understand it then. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of once the kid's like, okay, if I do this and that, I will get this outcome. But if I don't do this and that, I'll get this outcome. But you have to know. You have to know. So just to be mindful of everyday situations, because we make a lot of choices. And kids sometimes will make a choice and that will follow them for 2-3 years. As adults, oh no, he did that in 9th grade, so I still don't. What? He's a kid.
Right.
So just that mindfulness piece that we really instill in our kids to think great, act great, and be great. And that's really it.
What does success look like for you all? So like when you've had a kid where the light bulb has gone off, or when you've had someone like fully understand who they are, who they're capable of being, what does that look like?
To me, I think success are day-to-day choices, like Brother Lloyd said. Because I had kids who called me at 2 and 3 in the morning, like, Brother Kev, somebody robbed me. I'm outside his house right now, or I see him come down the street, what should I do? And to me, that's a successful story, because you know my ideology. So the fact that you call me without responding or reacting to the situation which you would have done before is a success, because now I know you're thinking about not only your life, but everybody else who's connected to what's going on. You're not only affecting him, what about his mom?
Yeah. So you're affirming him in that space, in that decision.
Yeah. So for guys to even think first is success to me, because I made decisions that put me places that I couldn't ask for help because it was a decision that I made. But if I would have thought about it first, we would save time, we would save money, and we'll also save loved ones, because people understand why we're doing what we're doing. And to Brother Lloyd's point, a lot of us don't know why we're making decisions. We're so hurt and harmed. We're just reacting and doing what we think we should do because it's glamorized in the media. It's talked about in song. No, let's change that ideology. What can we do to increase and build capacity in our communities? Those are the things that we should be doing.
Wow.
And to kind of piggyback off what he's saying, I think that too often, especially in our field and what we're doing and working in the school, success is gauged solely on grades, academic success. And that's not, of course we care about academic success, and it's something that's important to us and that we want to share with our youth. But a lot of our youth aren't, like you said, the decision making, the healthy life changes, healthy life choices that they're making. Those are the successes to us when we can see growth in those type of areas. Yes, of course, we care about the academic success, but there's a lot going on outside of the academic success that is shaping this kid or shaping this youth to make these bad choices or not perform well in school. So before we worry about the academic success, we have to worry about what's going on outside of the schools and with them.
That's a powerful statement, right? So and the research that I've done, like, you can't get to academic success until you address the person first, which is oftentimes not happening, right? So you all talked about being authentic, creating a safe space, speaking positively in life into the students, telling them what they can be, so setting high expectations. I'm calling out, this is stuff that you all do, that you practice, that is in research, like that people talk about. You work in a school setting. What are 2 to 3 things that are working in schools, and what are 2 or 3 things that aren't working?
Great question.
I think as far as what does work in school, I think it's African-American males just being in the space. Whenever there are African-American males in a space, it gives the youth who are in that space, who look like them, someone to trust and someone who have their best interests at heart. I don't know how all educators feel about students, but I know that some white people don't like black people. So if you have those same demographics teaching black kids, how are they helping the black kid?
Right.
So by having a familiar face, I think that the students sometimes feel not only more welcome in that space, but also challenged to know what they can do. And I also think another thing that works inside the space we're in, we also have a class where we meet with the men regularly. So it gives us the time to talk about, hey, do you ask for help? A lot of kids don't feel comfortable asking for help. Well, how can you be more successful without asking for help? So first we try to help them build confidence, then give them the skills and the coping mechanism they need to be successful. Now they feel more comfortable talking to their teachers in front of big groups, or just saying, hey, can I talk to you on the side? When do you have your office hours? I would love to come ask for help during those times. Just asking for small things, but us just giving them the tools that they need in their toolbox just to be successful when we aren't around.
Social capital.
Yes,
That's what you're doing.
please.
So you're
Yeah.
giving them social capital. Social capital is social money. It's currency. And if you have these tools, these skills, you can navigate through life. So those, and I'm not necessarily saying things that work or don't work with your program. I'm saying in the schools in general. Like because I think teachers they have a tough job.
Yes.
They don't get paid
Yes.
as well as they should. There are things that are working in schools, and you're saying when they make intentional efforts to bring black faces, black males into the schools.
And not just black males, but community, period. Every community looks different. So if you have, and the school I work at, we are one of the most diverse schools. We have African students from different continents and that speak different dialects. I mean, different countries that speak different dialects. We have students from Nepal. We have students that are Mexican American. So to bring people from the community who represent them, it makes them feel more included into the space that we're in.
That's deep.
I think one of the things that isn't really working is a lot based around the curriculum and what is being taught in the school.
Why not?
I don't think that, well, I know that a lot of our youth that we work with specifically can't relate to the information that's being taught to them, whether it's the style of the teacher, how they're manipulating or teaching the content, or just the content itself, where it's not culturally relevant to our youth. And for example, when I was at Obama, we went through one of the history books, and the only thing that they could find about Africans and African Americans was slavery.
Wow.
That was the only thing in the history book, and this is a history book that is
700 pages.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the only thing that they could find. So it's like, what can they really relate to in these books, and what are they taking from these books that they're being taught in the school? So I think that the curriculum has a lot to do with that.
And when I'm doing diversity trainings, one of the things that I talk about is not only is my identity being developed by what I'm being told, but what I'm also not being told. Like
Exactly.
if I'm not hearing this about myself, if I'm not seeing myself here, then I'm also learning about myself as well. We've got about 5 minutes left. I want to ask you all each a question. Sam, finish this statement.
Uh-oh.
One thing I wish people knew about young black males.
We're great. We're great. We're not what you may see on TV. There are people who aren't famous, who aren't actors or rappers or athletes, who are doing great things, not only in their communities, but to build up the legacy of black men and just the black culture, period. So I would say we're not what you see. We're not what you see on everyday TV.
That's awesome. Lloyd, finish this statement. The greatest gift we can give to young black males is?
Repeat that one more time for
The
me.
greatest gift we can give to young black males is what?
Inspiration. And I feel to see yourself in a space is key. I went to Catholic school from K and went to the First Benedictine College. Only had one African American male teacher, ever. So I never aspired to be a teacher because I didn't see it until I seen him my senior year of college. I'm in the front row because I have to do well because he looks like me.
Yeah.
And he wants me to do well because I look like him.
Yeah.
And just that alone, that inspiration, like, no, I can do this because Brother Lloyd did it. That's key.
That's awesome. Kevin, finish your statement. In 10 years, my hope for young black males is?
That they see success in themselves. I'm a big believer of once you think you can do better, then you will. Because for a long time, I didn't try my hardest. For a long time, I didn't make decisions that positioned me for better spaces in life. For a long time, I continued to devalue myself and make decisions based on what I thought I believed, when really the only thing I believe and the only thing I deserve is greatness. I deserve everything I could ever dream of. I deserve to be able to have my pie in the sky while I'm here on earth. I deserve to have the things that I dream about. And I want 10 years from now for all black people to see greatness in themselves, because when they do, their actions will reflect those things.
So, and this might be the last question, but it's for all of you. You all have a hope, like you have a life purpose, and you're being driven to do this work. What needs to happen in order for us to get to sort of this space where black men believe in themselves? And I want you to answer it in two ways. One, how can someone who's not in a school system, so you all are part of this, how is a person listening that's not in a school support this vision, this dream? And then what needs to happen with our city leadership or our school leadership?
I'm gonna say one way that you guys can support our vision is basically, one thing you can do is just go online to www.1NationMentoring.org. Just see the different things that we're doing. Just by you being informed, it may inspire you to want to support any other kind of way. If you can donate, please donate. Or if you can just see another young person of color, male or female, just look at them and smile and say, hey, we all have gifts and we all have talents, but a lot of the time we see people who look like ourselves and we turn our head and don't look for them for hope. Smile. Wow. Take someone to lunch. Take someone with you, or just have a conversation with somebody. Just be polite. I think these are small things that we can really do just to show our support to those around us. And as far as leadership in the city of Pittsburgh, I think that we just need to grow and to be comfortable being uncomfortable until we can get the results that we need. We all know the world isn't the best place for us all, but we all know that there are things that we can individually do ourselves to make it better than it is at the moment. So I think that just by us just getting out of our comfort zone and just doing something different to get a different result is something that could be done.
You all host the Sneaker Ball. This is the second year that you've hosted it. It is becoming the place to be in Pittsburgh. Yes. What's next for One Nation Mentoring? What do you all? What's next? I mean, because like the numbers keep growing for that. People are coming to your website and supporting. What's next?
I think just continuing to grow and build as an organization. One of the things that we're focusing on now is trying to raise our capacity to whereas we can go into more schools and be available in more schools, not only in the Pittsburgh Public School District, but any school district in need. And we can go in and successfully navigate those spaces and continue to have the type of presence in the school and continue to have the type of outreach and effects on the youth that we work with. So right now, that's one of our main focuses, is trying to raise funds and expand our brand.
That's awesome. And do you all have any more? Are you on social media? Can people find you in other places?
Yep. On IG, Instagram is the number 1Nation_mentoring. On Facebook is facebook.com/the number 1NationMentoring.
I genuinely appreciate the work that you all are doing, man. I love you guys like brothers, and I know that you're having an impact that's going to ripple for generations to come. So thank you guys so much for being on the show. Appreciate you guys. That's our time. The Paul Spradley Show is available on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere else podcasts are distributed. Also, my team and I would love to host a training at your place of work. I'm Dr. Paul Spradley on social media and would love to connect with you. So find me, talk with me, and let's get together. Have a fantastic week. Keep learning, keep caring. See you next time.